Hello and welcome back to the Back Post. Today we're going to be talking about Tottenham beating Nottingham and Richarlison committing heinous crimes on a football pitch. We're going to be talking about Arsenal scraping past Fulham, another failure of a 9-0. Make it 10, boys. City coming back and Chelsea scraping past a truly awful Leicester side. Jay's given me free rein to decide what we talk about first. And you know what, Jay?
No.
I'm going to start off with a comment. Start with a comment for the old TikToks.
Oh, good.
I'm going to inhale for this one. Right?
There's a clip now.
I'm going to. Right. Tottenham's 10 points from the start of this season are better than Arsenal's 12.
They're going to hate us, Josh. They're going to hate us. We'll keep atting Arsenal fans.
I don't care. I'm sorry. Like, Arsenal fans, it's just great fun at the moment because I genuinely saw a tweet today that was like, this team is genuinely giving me Invincible vibes.
No.
No. But let me clarify my point, because I'm aware that if you actually look at the table, 10 points is less than 12 points. I am aware of that.
Mathematically, yes.
Yeah. Mathematically, Arsenal have a better start. But we've gone to Chelsea away, Jay. Mm-hmm. We've faced Wolves. Mm-hmm. I know we faced Nottingham. They're a side that have come up, and they haven't clicked yet. I get that. I know that we faced Southampton, and Southampton gave United a challenge, a 4-1 win there. It was good. I know that our goal difference is worse. I know that we're not being talked about like with the second coming of Christ. However, from the games played, I prefer where we are. Not table-wise, just in who we've played wise.
Yeah, like you've already had to overcome challenges.
Yeah.
So, like the challenge against Chelsea, getting a point in that game,
especially when we shouldn't have won that game.
Yeah, and then I swear last week you said we. Anyway,
no, I said that you should have won the game, but it's not our fault that you didn't score your fucking goals.
But also Wolves, big challenge because they played really well, and you still managed to win that one as well. But I guess again, devil's advocate, Arsenal did that against Fulham this weekend. They looked poor against Fulham. Fulham got a draw against Liverpool. They managed to get through it regardless.
A few mistakes, just sleeping in there. Just sleeping in. Just don't know what they're doing, giving the ball away in that position for Mitrovic just to slot it home. That was good fun.
Oh, Mitro's looking good as well.
Mitro is looking fun. But no, that's all I have to say really on that matter. Is I think I just can't wait. Like, what is going to be the test that breaks Arsenal? Well, because I said to you at the start of this season, I can see them winning their first 5, and their next game is Villa, who look dreadful, unfortunately. So I stand by that. Then they've got United, and who knows what United they'll face? Who knows?
Yeah, like you don't know if that's a challenge or not at this point. Then they got Lampard's Everton. That's a big challenge. They might win a fair few, And then they got Brentford. They might win a fair. And then there's the North London derby, which will be really tasty on this podcast. We'll get an Arsenal.
If we're both like first and second in that time, depending on how City do that's going to be really, really interesting.
That'll be tasty. But not gonna lie, there's not many challenges in front of them just yet. And I think you're right. You have faced more, which is interesting. And that's the narrative, isn't it? And we've purposely rattled a few Arsenal fans. Josh, bro,
the lid is cracked. That's not. I want it on record. The lid is cracked and it's fucked me.
I just looked over and you dribbling all tiny as that.
Damn you! What's that coffee shop called?
Trove.
Damn you, Trove.
God's sake.
This video is not sponsored by Trove.
No, it isn't. Unless they want to.
Lid off.
Well, we'll move on to the 3 PMs because you know what? I didn't have the pleasure of sitting at home and watching Soccer Saturday for this.
No, you sent me a video about Greece or ABBA or something.
I was out at a bottomless brunch in Birmingham, so it was kind of like, and, I thought, Leicester, yeah. Well, who cares? Liverpool, Bournemouth, nah, who cares? Palace, City, nah, who cares?
Well, it's weird. Obviously, who cares about the other two? You're a Chelsea fan. No, so it's weird for you to be like Chelsea. That's a relatively decent game in recent times.
Yes, obviously, I wanted to watch the game, but I couldn't. I was out. I had plans, and my phone just go boom, 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 boom. The 3 PMs were going off. It was quite exciting. I don't know where you was for it.
I was at work, but we had it on. Not legally. Had it on legally. We had a Soccer Saturday on, actually, because we were on the bar and we had it hidden behind the bar.
And it was just exciting, wasn't it? Like, things were happening. I was looking at my fantasy team. Sad I didn't get any goal involvements, the dickhead.
I love that. I dropped him as well.
Did you drop? Oh, you genius, honestly.
I dropped him for Son.
take away
Big
the
brain.
genius. But we'll start with Liverpool 9-0. You mentioned it in the intro.
It's a failure.
Why can't they get 10?
Just get 10.
You're just on the... And this is such a weird thing to say. You cowards. Get 10. It's not hard. I mean, it is.
It's been 4 times now.
It's annoying.
Sick of it.
I thought this was going to be one of them.
And also, on the subject of Salah, should have been 11.
What's he doing? What the hell is he doing? Right, and there's so many people in there at fantasy football that had him looking at the 9-0 going, let's go.
The people that triple captain Firmino, they need to be stopped.
Why would you? And well done. It's annoying. I mean,
not well done. No.
Trent. I have got Trent, who did really well.
Yeah.
But then again, like a no captain on him. I captained Jesus.
Okay.
Which is shit,
That
isn't
is
it?
shit. Oh, yeah, it's Haaland. I captained Kane, and he didn't do it. He could have got a hat-trick yesterday. Mr. Penn. But anyway.
The game itself.
The Liverpool game, yeah. I mean, if I was Scott Parker, I could not be rocking up in those cardigans again, or those suit jackets again next week.
That is the problem.
It might be.
It might be the problem.
If I'm like, Scott, can I just talk to you about my game time on the left wing, actually? Maybe I could be utilised in more of a central role. And he's just like checking his stripes on his blazer, and he's like, yeah, sorry, what's that? No, you don't worry about it, David Brooks. You'd play where you want. You'd be livid.
He's looking in the mirror.
You'd be livid.
Do whatever you want. I mean, you see the photo of Klopp, got his arm
I saw the
around
video of it. Yeah,
so patronising.
I don't know if I mind it. I don't know. I think here's why I haven't heard what Scott Parker said about it.
Yeah.
If Scott Parker has a problem with it, it's a problem.
Yeah, I guess
if Scott
you're right.
Parker's fine with it, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, but
I don't like Klopp, but
yeah.
I think that's fair.
No, I think that is very fair. But I mean, I would have a problem with it if I was Scott Parker. I would use my 3 striped cardigan to elbow him in the ribs. But
Spot with 3 stripes.
But I mean, listen, we said on last week's pod, and we had a clip ready to go. Is it time for Klopp to go? And instantly, the day that was supposed to come out, or the day after, they slapped him up 9-0. I think they replied quite well to that defeat against United, to the ropey start. This is one of the best. I know it's against Bournemouth. This is one of the best replies you could ever do. It
is, but let's not forget that it was a United team that did this to Southampton.
Indeed.
An awful United team that didn't,
These results are a bit like...
Yeah, Liverpool are a better team than United, but let's not pretend that United fixed all their problems after that 9-0.
No, absolutely not. But this...
It was under Solskjaer, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, which is weird. Like a record, one of the joint records is a Solskjaer team. But I think for this group of players especially, is one of those kick up the bum, let's go. I think they can use that. Like United didn't use it. This is definitely a Liverpool that can...
Who have they got next? Who Liverpool got next?
They have Newcastle.
You see, that's gonna be a really
that's a difficult
game.
one.
I think that has fuck me where we've just got 9. Let's get a draw now. Written all over it.
Yeah.
That'll be on my ACCA draws this week. I don't really have much more to say about the game. Bournemouth was really terrible. Liverpool ripped them to shreds. It was 9-0. Should have been 10. Celtic also made it 9.
I saw that as well, yeah.
Stop it!
Someone score 10. Just someone score 10. They also didn't need Nunes for 9 goals. That's fun. It's just a fun little poke. We'll move on to Chelsea, shall we? Because that was another one of the 3 PMs.
Yeah, or maybe more aptly, Leicester, because there's not... Yeah, you did well. I hate saying it, but Conor Gallagher made a silly mistake. Your entire team made up for it. But having watched that game back, I did sit down for match of the day. You didn't have to... you did turn up at 10 men, but you also didn't have to. Leicester was so awful. Another team that, I know they won an FA Cup, have been on a steady decline since winning 9-0.
It's a curse, isn't it?
It's a curse.
Just quickly before we go, did you see the Twitter account with the 9-0?
Yeah.
He had he was going insane on Twitter. It was so fun. Yeah, Leicester looked terrible. I mean, we rode our luck a little bit.
Yeah, at the end.
There was some chances.
They hit the crossbar, didn't they?
They hit the crossbar. There was definitely
Vardy rounded your keeper. Should have buried it.
Although we showed a lot of resilience to play with 10 men and win, fuck me, they're so bad. Where do you think they'll finish the season? Because it's not looking good.
I don't think they're going to get, I think...
We're giving them 80 mil for Fofana, but they've got no time to do anything with that now.
Between 12th or 14th.
You think?
Yeah.
But is that even that bad for Leicester? Because they've not invested anything.
It depends.
Really.
It depends if you then. It's all in context, isn't it? It's a bad season if you then spend the next 8 seasons in those positions.
Yeah.
But if you use it as a springboard to invest that money and bring in the next batch of players, then it's a fine season because you're Leicester, and sometimes you'll finish low in the table, sometimes you'll win the fucking league, and it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about Gallagher. I think that was just some silly mistakes from him. I feel bad for the guy.
Just tried a bit too hard, didn't he?
He's just trying a bit too hard, and I think he's not in his position. He's not a DM. Our system only revolves around 2 DMs because that's like the way it works, and he's struggling. And I think Tuchel.
You need a lot of discipline to be a midfielder in a back 5, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
You look at. Now we'll talk about Tottenham in a minute, but we obviously play that system as well, and we have 3. We have 4, but Skip's not back yet. Shuttlers, hard workers. There is no interest in Bentancur, Højbjerg or Bissouma for being like, woohoo, look at me in the midfield. Whereas Gallagher, to his credit, is that kind of player. That's not a bad thing.
Oh, and there's room for him to develop into that if that's what we want from him, because he's a young player with a lot of prospect. But right now, as he is, the player he is right now, he's a cam. He can't be playing in that position, and I think Tuchel's to blame a little bit with that.
Yeah.
He shouldn't be playing him. But then again,
is Kovacic just not back yet?
He's just not ready. I think he might be ready midweek, but he's just not.
If he's ready midweek, I have my suspicions. Why?
I know.
He wasn't ready,
if he's clearly not ready if Gallagher's playing, especially after Gallagher's performance the week prior. And I hate saying this because I love Conor Gallagher. He's a great lad. He's a Chelsea fan. He's a brilliant footballer, but I just don't think he'll fit the system for another unless he develops more. And we can't be developing a young player like that in the midfield when we're almost dropping points to Leicester. Like, we should have dropped points.
You should have dropped points. So, that is why you buy Sterling, though, isn't it, for that first goal? The second goal is Sterling's like absolute bread and butter. He'll get a few of those this season, but that first goal, it proves that world class tag.
It was it was about time as well, because there's every game he's played so far, there's been moments where he should have scored. He absolutely made up for it with that first goal. It was just a thing of beauty. And then the second one, as you say, there's someone that's there for the last however long. We've not had any player at that back post. Reece James has got one of the best crosses from that position in the Prem. He's brilliant, right? He whips that ball in so well, and finally Sterling's going to be at the end of some of those. And I think that partnership is one to look out for, because I think that one excites me a lot, because Reece James is definitely our best player at the minute. Yeah, and hopefully Sterling can get a good bond with him, and that was fun. Should we move on? You happy to move on?
Yeah, I mean, do I want to move on from Chelsea? Yeah, why not? I want to stay.
No, let's talk about how you won some more.
No, let's really quickly, we'll talk about Tottenham next, but let's really quickly touch on the fact that Man City were 2 down. It really looked like that was going to be one of those days for City, and Erling Haaland did Erling Haaland things.
I mean, you know what? It's not this is a kind of a City thing as well, let's face it. I mean, I saw them 2-0 down, and a part of me did think, they could still win this 3-2 quite easily. Last game of the season last year, and City do this a lot, but this is just what that price tag on Haaland is just justified. Is that he's so good? He's got 6 goals in 4 games.
It's more goals. Oh no, it's just one. Anyway, it's a lot.
He's just everything that they didn't have, and more. He's brilliant,
and I can't believe there was even thoughts about them letting Bernardo Silva go to Barcelona.
What a player he is. Yeah, so there was not even a surprise in that, but I will say Palace looked really good, and obviously in that opening half, they've looked good all season so far, and they might be that new problem Europa League side this year, because West Ham have fallen off massively.
Not to go back to it, but I do wish that Arsenal had played Crystal Palace 4 games in, and
not
in that first game.
Yeah.
They do look really good, but that first game, they hadn't quite.
They hadn't got their shooting boots on yet. They were still lacing up. But they've laced up now, and they look pretty exciting for the rest of this season. And then talk to me about Spurs, Josh.
I watched the whole game. It was stressful at parts. Just in terms of we were wasteful. It was... Nottingham had some good moments. You were sort of sat there going, could this be one of those days? But it wasn't, and it was fine. And Son had some, Son, I love Son. I think Son is a genuine world-class player, but he's just had a slow start to the season. That's allowed, that's fine. If we're doing this well without Son performing at his best, then I look forward to seeing him try it. A lot of Spurs fans are fuming that Richarlison isn't starting over Son. But you saw what happened when Richarlison came on and made an impact with an absolute fucking ball. We'll talk about the other thing in a minute. But also fans are like absolutely clamouring for Basuma to start over Højbjerg. And I don't really understand that because
Højbjerg hasn't let you down, but
he hasn't let us down at all. He's a massive part of the reason we got the draw at Stamford Bridge. His stats and his aggression are all up there. He's brilliant. And
I'd love Højbjerg at Chelsea. He's everything I think we need at the minute.
He's a bastard, and I think that's the most important thing about Tottenham at the moment is. And it's rattling people. And Arsenal, you know what? I love it because Arsenal have been built as this really nice team at the moment. Like, oh, look at the young children frolicking in front and dancing in the goal. Whereas, like, people hate Tottenham because everyone always hates Harry Kane. Like, I know you don't because you're a rational human being that wants England to win a trophy. But loads of people hate Harry Kane. For some reason, Son's like hated. Like they look at him and they're just like, what a bastard.
I love how much people like hate Son because it's so weird. He does seem like a nice dude and a brilliant footballer.
But we've just got that level of shit. We've got Højbjerg getting into people's faces. We have Rano Romero's injured at the moment, but when he plays, he's an absolute bastard. And don't get me wrong, if this was against me, Richarlison's little showboat would have pissed me off probably.
But
it's not a crime.
No,
he just did a little juggle of the football.
It's not a crime.
It's like, but people are genuinely treating it.
The way you said that was brilliant.
People are treating it like he
mate,
got his dick out. He stood on the ball and just whacked his penis out. Like people are like, oh my god, no!
He's still
Nico Williams, get him! Or Brennan Johnson, I think, did the first tackle. Like.
No, you know what? It's in football. Like if I was a Nottingham Forest fan, I would be livid, of course. But that's football. Growing up being a Chelsea fan, Diego Costa, Drogba being a bastard, Louis. Yeah. I love that shit. I really, really do.
Did everyone sit there a few years ago watching Ronaldinho just going, "Stop it,
dickhead!
Stop it, Ronaldinho."
He's just showing off.
I know Richarlison isn't Ronaldinho, but
he's Ronaldo.
You know how Mourinho was right. He wasn't the right fit for Tottenham, but he was right. We need to be more of bastards,
mate. Mourinho does this. He's a smart man. He did it for United. He did it for you. Maybe it didn't work out, but he's right.
And then Conte's come in and he's managed it. He's got
that bastard element.
Nasty team at the moment, and Tottenham were the nice team for so long.
Yeah, you were this nice little princes, and that was
probably
what was annoying.
You hated it, and I didn't particularly like it because it didn't do us any good. I loved the team, and maybe to an extent, Chelsea are suffering from that problem at the moment. You've got Christian Pulisic smiling on the wing, but he's shit and needs to go.
Posting photos of his teammates when we get battered.
Yeah. Look at the boys. Me and the boys.
Me and the boys.
Look at the boys. That's my American accent.
That was Pulisic all over that.
It was fine. It was a good win. Richarlison, I've seen some great comments about Richarlison. He's just an Eric Lamela that can play football. I quite liked. I also like this is what, an actual serious one was this is what happens when you don't have to bring on from the bench just to run and be a body. This is what happens when you bring someone who can actually play.
That's one of the
bench.
biggest
that's
points.
Why we spent the money.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest points with Tottenham. My points for Tottenham this year. You've been so reliant on Kane and Son, and then maybe at some point in the last few years, Son has been playing slow like he is right now. You ain't got no one to come on and make a difference, but now you do, and that's the difference, the biggest difference.
And also the side, and again, I know we've had this debate before, and I know he's a good player. I'm not slagging him off, but I am so glad we missed out on Diaz. I wouldn't swap. I know Diaz is great. I'm not even slagging him off, but personally, I'm so glad.
I think it works perfect. He works for them, and I think.
But I would not swap Kulusevski. It's Kulusevski. Sorry, for the wall. I love him. He every single time he's on the ball, he knows when to release it, and I love it, and I love him. The only final thing I would say about that game is there is absolutely no way in hell. It's mental that Steve Cook didn't get a red card.
I haven't seen it.
So the ball loops towards Harry Kane. It's going in.
Yeah. And
Steve Cook reaches up and just hits it away. And it's in the rules. It's a denial of a clear goal scoring opportunity. Harry Kane might not have got his head there, but that's not... Obviously, you might not score if you're through on goal. He punched the ball away to stop it from going in the net. We got the penalty and he got a yellow, but... The fact that it wasn't a red, that double jeopardy doesn't apply there. It's not like a tackle. He has to go.
Yeah,
and then their entire back three. Richarlison got all this shit for being a little showboater. All of Nottingham's back line were on yellow cards. They were dragging us down, throwing us about, tackling us, handballing it off the net. They can fuck off. They've signed 20 players Fuck off. Nottingham.
Beautiful way to end part 1. Was there even part 2?
Very nice.
Welcome back to part 2. Some draws happened. The Carabao Cup draw happened, and I jinxed myself quite annoyingly because I was watching it on YouTube, and I said to Hope, I was like, Hope, you know what? I wouldn't mind like maybe a nice little northern away there, you know what I mean? Because we're based up north. It'd be nice for me not having to trek for a nice game. It'd be fun. Maybe a Blackburn or something. Got the closest game to where I live, and it's Manchester City. I dug myself a hole. Now I've got to sit in it, and that's not a great draw. That's not a great draw. We all know how much Pep loves that little trophy.
He does.
And
he does.
It's very annoying because, you know, we want to do good in the trophies, and that really pissed me off. Who did you get?
We've got Nottingham again. Come on, I want Richarlison to start, and I want him to do. I want him to kick off and just start keeping it up in all over the fucking joint with his middle fingers up. And I'm excited. I'm excited for that. But yeah, we'll
That's
we'll
it on the draw
when we come to it.
And then the other draw was the Champions League, and I watched this. It drags on for so long. We used to do a few live streams for them, and they were always mistakes, weren't they? Because the first half an hour we just sat there like, and now Frank Rijkaard is coming out, and it's just so boring. But the draws here, where do we even start? Group A looks quite fun.
I mean, let's rattle through it. Ajax, Liverpool, Napoli, and Rangers is such a good
beautiful
group with like beautiful games just dotted about
and
in there.
some good think of the grounds and the Anfield and the Ibrox. That's beautiful.
And Liverpool, Napoli, and Liverpool were in a group before, weren't they? And they should have. Napoli almost threw them out in 2019 when Liverpool went on to win it. I think Van Dijk stood on someone's ankle and it should have been a red.
Yeah, a little bit of revenge there for Sarri's boys.
Yeah, we've got the group of death.
Sarri's not there.
We've got the group of death. We've got Bayern, Barca, Inter, and Victoria Pleasant. I'm really, really sad that Celtic didn't end up in this group. Just because
that'd have been fun.
A historical yet small team, like. That's how you get the most. They probably want it as well, even though it's unlikely.
They got a
get
decent
out of that group. That's how you. Playing those 3 games is mad.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing about that group is brilliant. Like every team, Barca, Bayern, and Inter should definitely beat Victoria, and whoever.
But you remember Sheriff a few seasons ago beating Real Madrid.
This is very true, but like in theory, and then it might become a case of like who scores more against what, and then also you got the Bayern Barcelona drama from a few years ago, the 8-2. That one's beautiful, isn't it?
We've got our group.
Your group, yeah.
A lovely little group. It screams a little bit of the time we didn't get out of a group featuring... We didn't get out of a group featuring Monaco, CSKA Moscow and Leverkusen. And I'm looking at Eintracht, Sporting and Marseille. And then like literally a few hours...
Spider-Man, like... No, it's not the worst group though, is it, mate? You've got to be happy with that.
It's quite fun. I did see rumours almost immediately after the draw saying Ronaldo was looking at both Sporting and Marseille. And I was like, why don't you just fuck off, Ronaldo?
Leave us alone.
But I've got a mate who's a Sporting fan, so we'll probably watch that one together. That'll be quite fun. And
who's a Sporting fan?
David, my Portuguese friend. It makes sense, really.
Doesn't make a lot of sense. Our group is fun. I mean, I said to Hope I'd love to go San Siro, and I'm going to try, but it's like 2 days after I come back from holiday, so that's peak. But AC Milan's a great game.
You probably scuppers any chance of you getting Rafael Leao.
Yeah, I don't think that's happening anymore.
No, but
you're right.
It was a heavy link.
Are
you excited to see your boy? Tomorrow is coming back.
Tomorrow's first return. It'd be quite sad. It'd be not. I'm already emotional about it. Just seeing like Reece and Mason go over and say how you doing, and that would be fun.
It'd be tricky to win that group, but obviously you should be.
The way it looks there is almost like way it could pan out with Milan, Chelsea, Salzburg.
But Milan had a really bad time of it last season.
They haven't got that like European pedigree like they used to have back in the day. But they're still a good side, and that's a decent group. I'm not too.
Someone I work with was convinced that, I don't know if there was tongue in cheek, but it didn't feel like it. After Celtic won 9-0, they were like, it's just a warm up to go and beat Real Madrid in a few weeks, and I was like. Are you one of those people that doesn't think the Scottish League is tin pot? Interesting.
Good.
That's the narrative there, really. We've got Haaland. Straight back to Dortmund. Sevilla will be a menace in that group, but it should be Man City Dortmund, shouldn't it, really?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even Dortmund are saying they have not had much success in the Champions League, but that narrative is right there. And also we get to see Jude as well playing. I like watching Dortmund play every now and then, just for the boy.
And finally, we've got Di Maria going back to PSG, I guess. This is the one team I did really want was, again, for a lost defender, I'd have loved to have Benfica. I'd love to see Jan Vertonghen back. I'd love to see the reception he would have got. I didn't actually say this before, but the one team I didn't want, and it's not because I'm scared of them, I just didn't want Marseille. Just because it bores me. It's just, I was just like, oh, really? Like, give me Celtic, give me Rangers. Let's have like a Copenhagen. Let's randomly have a Maccabi Haifa. But then it was just Marseille, and I was just a bit like, Gundaisy.
Fucking hate that geezer, man. I used to hate that geezer. Good.
So yeah,
and that's the Champions League draw. I think I love the Champions League. I can't wait. It starts very, very soon. Our game is the first game, and it's against Zagreb. So that's the curtain raiser.
That's exciting. The only other thing left to speak about is you guys have Southampton in the midweek, so only a few days away from you seeing this.
Yep.
And Tottenham have a London derby in West Ham, a West Ham team that scraped their first win of the season. Aston Villa were all over West Ham for that game, but They did manage to get their first goal and win of the season. I've got, again, another workmate who's a Villa fan who went to back home to go and watch this, and I felt so sorry for him because there's nothing like a 1-0 in the 74th minute. Just
you got to do
there's nothing that makes you sad. Yeah, there's nothing that will make you in the stands do this. And then like that.
Yeah.
So
I once travelled down to London from Manchester for a Champions League game against Valencia where we lost 1-0 and Ross Barkley missed a pen, and that was the longest.
I've had the exact same thing. Dele Alli missed a pen and it was Leverkusen. And we got knocked out of the Carabao Cup by Martin Kelly.
Yeah,
FA Cup, never forget.
You've mentioned that one before on this channel, I think.
Never forget.
Dele Alli to Besiktas.
Oh, yeah.
Quick word.
He was smiling. That's all we want. He was smiling.
That's a nice way to look at it. Fair play. You compared him to Frank Lampard once.
He had a better start to his career than Frank Lampard.
And he's had a way worse end.
Well, if you look at he's going to be... as a manager, Dele Alli is going to fly.
As a player, right?
As a manager, Dele Alli is going to come to Everton one day and he's going to win the league, whereas Frank Lampard will be at Shrewsbury by the end of the year.
He's just going to be at every lower league Premier side. And then any other big games in the midweek? It's pretty boring midweek when you look at it. Really.
Leicester's going to be an interesting test for Man United, just because, like we've just said, Leicester are utter shit. And if Man United can capitalise on that and smash Leicester up, you start to think, hang on, then maybe they've got an idea here. Whereas if they do let Leicester come back into that game, it's a problem. It's a big problem.
And Leicester need something now if they're gonna.
I don't see Frank beating Leeds.
I mean, the way they looked against us. I mean, fuck no. But I mean, how did they do on the weekend?
They were lost 1-0, I believe, to
Brighton.
But Brighton are flying.
Brighton a great team.
And the cameras died.
Tell your dads, everyone.
Tell your dads. If that's God telling us to end the podcast.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.